Hello everybody, it's VerticalSandwich. In our last video we went through all of the helmets, armor, and weapons in Hand of Fate, and now we're going to go through all of the gloves, artifacts, and rings. So, Fleet Cuffs increases the wearer's movement speed. Imperial messengers have long used these on trails where horses cannot pass. Mage's Gloves. Killing an enemy launches 3 magic missiles at any remaining opponents. The spite of a magic user channeled through his hands. Crushing Grips. All counterattacks with these gauntlets have a chance to stun the opponent. Popular with soldiers of fortune, they complement any melee weapons. Assassin's Greed. With these equipped, every successful combat grants the player some gold, woven with care to provide a small financial benefit to honest, hard-working assassins. Dragon Claws. These items reduce all weapon and artifact cooldowns. One of the dragon relics worn by Torin, Slayer of Dragons in the Second Age. Hag's Wraps. Each strike inflicts a curse, slowing and weakening your opponent. Woven from filthy scraps, but laced with evil enchantments, given enough time, even the strongest of fighters may be enfeebled by their tainted magic. Alright, on to artifacts. So we just have artifacts and rings left to go. Damocles. During combat, press R1 button to throw knives in 8 cardinal directions. This artifact was forged to teach mortals a lesson about power and peril. Consuming Shame. All weapon attacks are enhanced with a powerful poison that taints the victim's mind and body. It is said that the souls of those who die by this artifact are doomed to wander the abyss forever, overcome with shame. During combat, press R1 button to summon a swirling vortex centered on the adventurer. Long ago, it was a lost bet that delivered this artifact to the mortal realm, and with it, power over elements of air. I just realized that the numbers on these things may be the number of uses you have for them. It never really occurred to me to wonder about that, I guess. Mage Strike. Press R1 to strike a random opponent with a powerful lightning strike. You took this artifact from the broken tower of the White Council. Feathered Ice. During combat, press R1 button to create a blast of freezing ice centered on the adventurer. Winter Elves crafted an object that could bring the eternal cold of their homeland into the mortal realm. People really like this artifact, by the way. If you go online and you talk to people about strategy, or like read things about strategy, people really love Feathered Ice. During combat, press R1 button to become ethereal, avoiding all damage until your next attack. Oh, Spirit Walk, sorry. A series of Master Assassins used this artifact over the centuries to momentarily seize and hold control of the Assassin's Guild. War Cry. Press R1 button to perform a War Cry. You'll be able to perform your most damaging attacks without building a combo. A powerful call for allies to rally. This call will always be heeded. Time Heals. During combat, press R1 to twist time and return your health to its starting value. The Magic Academy claims that frequently abusing time in this manner may damage time itself, causing uncontrollable results. Well, I do know that this artifact has 3 uses, so yeah, makes sense. Arrow Cutter. During combat, press R1 button to summon a magical shield that stops arrows and other ranged attacks. The Wizards of an Ancient Kingdom created this artifact along with the Retribution Blessing to protect their troops against the incursions of elven archers. Forged Steel. During combat, press R1 to move and attack faster for a short duration. 1,000-year-old mystics living high atop the Moon Peak Mountains long ago mastered the art of perfecting steel through forging. Over time, these methods have been forgotten, along with the mystics themselves. Mercenary Contract. Once per combat, press R1 button to activate an aura that makes every successful strike drop gold. Mercenaries in these lands will agree to take on anyone if the price is right. Dragon Breath. During combat, press R1 button to shoot a cone of fire. And one of the dragon relics wielded by Torin, Slayer of Dragons in the Second Age. Alchemical Silver. Press R1 button to attack faster with each successful strike. The longer your combo, the more explosive the reaction. When a weapon flows with the essence of the moon, each successful strike makes the next one faster. The effect dissipates as soon as you miss, get hit, or are blocked. Inferno Potion. During combat, press R1 button to activate Fire Form, a host of fire elementals distilled into liquid form by an archwizard. Lightning Crash. During combat, press R1 button to knock back and stun all enemies with a crash of lightning. Simpletons and fools cower at the crash of this artifact, but more powerful enemies are not so easily frightened. Chain Bomb. During combat, press R1 button to begin dropping timed bombs at the player's location every few seconds while activated. The infamous Thief of Alzater popularized these bombs as a device for evading pursuit. And Detonator. During combat, press R1 button to cause all corpses to explode. The wizard Magnanon, the Mad, needed an edge over his old enemy, Tyrannicus, the Necromancer. With no corpses left to animate, Tyrannicus was ultimately defeated. Okay, on to rings. Whew, that's a lot of this. Healer's Ring. Whenever the player receives healing, they also receive +1 gold. No benefit if they were already fully healed. Healers are known to be generous with their skills, but this ring persuades them to be generous with their purse also. The Ring of Poverty. When this ring is sold, all the player's gold is lost, but the player receives +1 max health for every 5 gold lost as a result of this sale. Responding to the call to abandon all material possessions and worship the old god enriches both the soul and the body. The Bashing Ring. Once per combat, the 10th time the player successfully performs a shield bash attack, +10 gold appears. The impact from this magic ring rattles bones and coins alike. By the way, I'm starting to lose my mind reading this stuff. Like, I'm zoning out in a very weird way where I'm just like, oh, it's another card. Ring of Justice. Using a weapon ability causes the player to be fully healed and for the ring to be destroyed at the end of that combat. This ring belonged to a learned and noble senator who represented the common people and enacted many changes on their behalf through the Empire. He came to be known as the Great Reformist of the Second Age. Alright, Ring of Enlightenment. If the player sells this ring, they receive +50 gold for each blessing they possess, and all blessings are lost. It is rumored that a confidant of the High Priestess crafted this ring when she decided that true enlightenment occurs when one realizes that gold is the real power in the universe. Guildmaster's Ring. The player receives +1 food whenever they enter a shop. You stole this ring from the Guildmaster as he rode from the city to seek his wayward daughter. Spiritual Healing. Whenever the player is healed, receive +1 health per blessing. This ring was a gift from the priest as thanks for your donations of food for the starving orphans. Golden Ring of Pain. Player inflicts +1 damage per 20 gold in their possession, up to a maximum of +10. One of the kings of hell developed this tool as a way of combining his love of gold with his love of inflicting pain. Holy Ring. After killing an undead, the player receives +5 health. The Great Warrior Monk Nathanael brought this blessed ring to the accursed lands of the Southern Kingdom during the undead invasion of the Second Age. The Skeleton King Ring. Well, the Skeleton King Sword, Shield, and Helm are equipped. Pain cards also give a random gold or food bonus. This ring was fashioned by an ancient god to work in concert with the Skeleton King's sword, shield, and helm. Plunderer's Ring. With every gain card, the player receives +1 gold and +2 health. During her youth, the elf maiden Marith wore this ring throughout her adventures across the land. The Occult Ring. The player inflicts 3 more damage for every curse they have. A strange old monk who appears to be some kind of caretaker for cursed treasure suggested that you might find this useful. Berserker Ring. Every 6 kills the player makes in a single combat, they receive +30 health. A relic from a people lost to legend, it is said that they could ignore almost any injury while consumed by their battle lust. The Ring of Engorging. The player receives double the food, but only half the gold they normally receive. A wealthy merchant whose son was taken by the King of Dust traded all that he owned for this ring. He then spent the rest of his days searching the Desert of Damnation in vain for his child. The Trader's Ring. Whenever the player sells an item, they receive +2 food. This ring was acquired at the trading post as thanks for bringing some food to that remote shop. The Disciple's Ring. The player receives 5% less damage per blessing and 5% more damage per curse. The old gods smile upon those they favor and bring great peril to those they deem unworthy. The Ring of Gluttony. The player receives 50% more healing from consuming food. A current favorite of the ladies of the Southern Kingdom Court, the magic of this ring keeps the user's body running at an accelerated rate, healing or wasting away more quickly. The Ring of Punishment. The player receives +1 gold for every 5th damaging hit they receive in combat. The Knights of Nai were famed for their willingness to take incredible amounts of punishment in the course of their quests. The Ring of Return. The player receives +1 gold per reflected projectile, up to a maximum of 10 per combat. According to rambling tales told over many an ale, this ring was gifted to a young student of martial arts who promptly sold it and abandoned her studies for a life as a pirate thug. Saint's Ring. Player max health is increased by 5 for every blessing they have. The ring was the final gift from the priest, given with thanks from all the starving children whom you helped to feed through the winter. Ring of Exchange. Whenever the player sells an item, they receive food instead of gold, but only half the usual amount. A gnomish mage named Lyort made this for his cousin, who had sold almost all of his family's possessions for gold to fund his gambling. King's Ring. During combat, will deflect any killing blow on the player at the cost of 10% of their gold per blow. No effect on 0 gold. The cunning King Abaddon kept this item about his person at all times, along with a large sack of gold. Veteran's Ring. After being hit by the same enemy 3 times, that enemy is marked and receives double damage from the player on all future hits. A mercenary named Umbra Dragonbridge survived 3 wars and countless adventures while roaming the kingdoms of the land, using this ring to deliver lethally precise blows to anything foolish enough to offer challenge. Ring of Fulfillment. Player's maximum health is increased by +1 max health per food. This item once adorned the hand of the Princess of the Casted Mountains, famous for her love of food. You received it for trading with a demon. Master Ring. The player receives +1 gold per ring, including this one, after every encounter. A ring for the genuine collector of fine magical trinkets. Ring of Peace. After any encounter in which the player did not enter into combat, the player receives +1 gold for every blessing they possess. A humble young wizard had dreams of giving rings such as this to all of the crusading knights traveling through his country, but he was killed outside a tavern after creating just this one. Ring of Experience. After every successful combat, the player gains +1 max health per blessing. Originally given to holy champions of the old gods, this ring was the final prize you obtained from the blood auctions. Ring of Defense. Whenever the player finds a helm, gauntlet, or shield, they receive +5 max health. Rings such as these were crafted by dwarves for their finest and most heavily armored warriors. Ring of Reward. After every 3rd combat, the player draws 3 equipment cards and keeps 1. The infamous warrior Shen used this ring to great effect in his quest to plunder and butcher his way to glory. Ring of Survival. After every 3rd combat, the player receives +20 health. A clan of mad berserkers went into the forlorn forest and lived there for many generations, eking out a living with these rings. The Emergency Ring. If the player reaches 0 health but still has food, then they receive health equal to their amount of food, and all of their food is consumed. What's the Wizard crafted this utility ring to bring a measure of security to his wild wandering adventures. The Guild Ring. 20% discount on all shops, items, and services. This ring was a gift from the blacksmith for your part in rescuing his son. And then the last ring I unlocked, the Ring of Wizardry. With every artifact used, the player receives 5 health. The most successful battle mages have their own methods for healing wounds. So, that was it. The description on every item in the deck. Every item we picked up through the Let's Play. The description has been read. If you want to know what one of these things does, you could, just look it up. There's probably a page for it. There's like a Hand of Fate wiki. So, but you could also look here. And with that, we are done with this and going on to something else. And we'll see you guys for that. Bye, everybody.